Hello everybody, welcome in tonight. It's been a hot second, but we are back with Ace Attorney tonight, our great Ace Attorney. Picking up where we left off here with Soph.
Hello.
We were teased of a secret case that happened in the past. So, we're going to move on. Not move on. We're going to get into it. Is this where I go? I hope so. Yes, okay. Okay, I was like, hold on a second. I'm like, oh no. This feels like it's starting a new game, but no. I think we're good.
I think it's because everything's unlocked from the start.
Twisted Karma in his last blow. What a title. Let's not think about it.
Did we do this wrong?
Hold on. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
There we go. I knew something fell off. I was like, hold on. Maybe it's just newfangled technology. No, it's not. Back to London with us.
ブライヤーロードの歩道で起こった姿なき犯人による
Another one?
冬の夜の惨劇。背中を刺され倒れた裏若きレディが生死をさまよううちに事件は解決した。
Recapping.
窮地に陥った東洋人の留学生が我が友人によって救い出されたその晩。
Oh.
ガス灯の刻むほの暗い影の中、再び奇怪な事件が闇を切り裂いた。当時の新聞の戦場的な見出しを記憶している者も多いだろう。悪霊に見入られた死の邸宅、死刑囚の呪い、
The dreaded demon of
ガス魔
coal
人の
gas.
恐怖。現場に駆けつけた名探偵は瞬時にその真相を看破するのだが、それは悲劇の舞台の幕開けを告げるプレリュードに過ぎなかったのである。
I wonder if now we'll get to find out who those two random guys were.
That's true, right? There was guys that definitely showed up that seemed very at least witness material that we never seen.
Yeah. I can't remember what they looked like. I just remember I never saw them again.
There was one that wasn't there one that had like it looked very jester-like. Like he had maybe jester-like is not the right word, maybe Shakespearean in a way. He had like a kind of, I don't know, Middle Ages looking kind of hat, as if he were part of like a royal court or something. You will meet him.
My name is
Sorry.
Miyanosuke Naruhodo. I'm a fledgling lawyer just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law. Having made a long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective.
Quite extraordinary circumstances. Who's to say he wasn't the one that came after you to escape?
Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. Including one that I shouldn't have.
The first one, to be exact. You live and you learn.
But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. Because of the train incident. But that epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. tale which was now about to awaken from slumber. Thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland.
I wonder who it's from. Wow.
The letter contains hunger.
Gosh dang, I didn't know you could package that nowadays.
What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. Must be nearly time for breakfast. I'd better go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate.
August 30th, 7:28 a.m. Sholmes' suite. Oh goodness, right off the bat. Me, not freshly woken up myself, but just enough where my voice is not warm.
Bruno, good! I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready.
Good morning, Iris. Smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. That surprises one. Not another word, Mr. Norihodo. This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation-repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow.
Ooh.
Morning to you too, Mr. Sholmes. Oh yes, I see. So that's it. Sir?
Sholmes, please.
Like visual ASMR.
Yeah.
The truth is as clear to me as day. My faculties of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruto, you have, this very morning, met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning.
Okay.
Can I talk now?
Sholmes, you're just like, good morning. I haven't even said hello or talked about something that I may want to talk about. Sholmes is like, shh, no, you can't say good morning. I know exactly what's going on.
Inosuke in this moment is just me in every voice chat ever, or every group chat I've ever been in. But of course, I don't look for admiration, you understand? My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh, it has?
Yep, those powers of observation.
And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember.
Sholmes, did you rip off that button?
Well, there's the packet. Yep, by you.
Harry pulled your button off.
Oh yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder, then, that in my vexation I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place.
Sholmes, why?
Why a button? Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Helpful.
Okay, not necessarily the buttons, but I have a funny story to tell y'all today. So, at work, I work at a bank, I'm a teller at a bank, and since there's only a handful of us at the bank, I'm also in charge of running the bank's vault, like where most of the money lies, right? And I was in there because I wanted to get some money to stock my drawer with, and I have to kneel down to get into it because it's a small little thing, because we're just a small little bank. And as I was getting in and counting it, my sweater caught on the inside locking mechanism and somehow tugged it shut to lock the handle. And so I got myself caught on the door with my sweater and had to I had to become a contortionist to lean around the door to put my code back in again to open the lock. Because even if I called my manager for help, I'm the only one with sole access into the vault. So I had to figure out a way how to get around it anyhow. But I had a good laugh about it because nobody saw it happen to me, but I know there was someone waiting around the corner for me, and I think that's why the reason I turned in such a way my cardigan got stuck and then locked myself to the door. Thankfully no buttons were yanked off in the process by locking mechanisms or interrupting detectives alike.
What matters of the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring.
But, Hurley, Bruno said when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning.
Well, that really is a surprise. Does the mail not go through this room first?
One would think.
Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire. The famous consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name.
Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it goes cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend.
And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Holmes' lodger and companion. A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes is published in Rance magazine. So, Mr. Naruhodo, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Ah, well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie you mean? Was it really?
That's right. And she had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast.
Ah, yes, what fun!
Or we can talk about it now.
This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning, by international post. You know, as it has to.
Yep.
Oh, how lovely! Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it.
And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Oh, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped the man. Twice.
Twice.
As you'll no doubt remembered the second time
Yep.
vividly.
Yeah, that happened apparently more recently.
You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the mustached twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache.
Yep.
Did I mention the mustache?
He didn't have 2 mustaches, Hurley.
Yes, who could forget those 2 cases and 2 stashes? They made a very deep impression on me.
Obviously.
Although, I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. Very deep impression they made on you, clearly. So, what was this startling news penned by Miss Susto? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Holmes? Oh yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Mrs. Stowe asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. It took place half a year ago. For what purpose? It gives us something that Mr. Knudsen had said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. Oh? On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Miss Susado's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikitoba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes.
Uh-huh, yeah.
It was very strange, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I had compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication, too. And then Harry here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, you said. Very mysteriously as well.
Really? I said that. Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Holmes?
Know about what?
About why Mrs. Stowe was suddenly told 4 months ago? Four mouths ago? That she had to return to Japan?
Whoa! Forget the 2 mustaches. Just get a load of the 4 mouths ago.
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Indeed it was. Due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right. Telling her to return urgent. Yes, because her father had passed away. No. They just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she made the voyage back home? Why would he do that?
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodge. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Mrs. Stowe's father is hiding.
Hurley, do you know what it's all about?
Oh, he's ready to go.
Hmm? Ah, well, who can say?
I've got to go now. Ta-ta.
What? But you said... Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. The calendar is quite surprisingly full today.
Holmes.
And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris?
I will, Harry. Don't worry. See you later.
He scuttled off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Soseki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes.
Aha! I found them at last.
Iris, are they...
The notes about the case? That's right. Susan and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Runo?
Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. Alright guys, it's a reading stream.
When is it not a reading stream though? It's a meta reading stream now.
I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit.
The spirit
Of justice!
And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again, together! Just such intense music for reading time.
It really is.
Everything from what happened to our investigation and that fierce battle in court that followed. Reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue, and I have all the time in the world because I'm unemployed. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain.
Oh my gosh. Ah.
It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident that unfolded in the wintry streets of London. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Briar Road with a knife in her olive back.
In her olive bag.
They kept describing her as an olive-colored dragon.
Yeah, they did. Her name was Olive, or something Olive
That's
too.
what it was. That sounds right. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident.
Right, we never heard if she woke up.
No. The fog was thick, and nobody saw her attack her, but... by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time, and was duly arrested. That man was Soseki-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Suzuto-san and I decided to represent Soseki-san in court. And, after a grueling trial with many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. Joyful choice! Jubilant jubilation! Was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilant jubilation was short-lived.
Gonna get out of the country soon enough.
We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. I'm sending him back to jail.
Gosh dang it, Sholmes.
The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Bart's at once. So Sister-san and I summoned a handsome and headed... What? Summoned a what?
Handsome.
And headed immediately to the hospital.
Word of the day. I have no clue what that is. I'm gonna assume it's some sort of mode of transportation.
A two-wheeled horse-drawn carriage.
The more you know. Because that's going to be extremely relevant in all of our daily vocabularies.
I mean, it was relevant in their daily vocabulary. So
Yeah, yes, indeed. It was relevant in theirs.
Indubitably. Indubitably.
Indubitably. February, 5:30 a.m. St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Recovery ward.
Now you are last. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not.
Oh,
You're late. What on earth took you so long?
it's 5:30 in the morning, Sholmes. Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes. And it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital.
That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I've been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. I am like a dog, and I have no concept of time.
Okay, I would like to argue that dogs have an excellent concept of time sometimes. Because...
No good concept of how long you've been gone. though.
Okay, yes, no good on how long you've been gone, but like when it's dinner time or when it's time to wake up, my dog knows exactly what time it is.
Yeah. In point of fact, I myself was awoken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy. And feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you.
Eggs.
I was thinking of you.
uh,
Well, thanks for that.
there's a rat in the corner.
Yep.
Hi. Let you nibble over there. He'll come back to you.
Anyway, you're here now, so the victim is over there. He's only just regained consciousness. The rat? Oh.
The rat.
You shall introduce yourselves, and I shall observe from here. Sir?
Oh, I forgot to move Twitch chat. Move Twitch chat real quick. Off you go. Okay.
So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with a knife in her back.
Her name is... Ah, yes, here we are. Miss Green.
What is this, Clue?
Well, she was found almost murdered with a knife on Briar Road. I can't think of the other descriptors. It's been so long since I played Clue. I feel like I've said this story before, but Clue gave me trauma as a child.
Oh.
Whenever... Okay, what it originally was is my dad used to play a video game version, like a computer game version of Clue. And I would hear like the thundering through my closet door because the office was on the other side of my closet. And I remember waking up one night because I wanted to get a drink of water, And as I was walking back to my room, I saw, I guess, like a in-between game sequence, or at the start of a new round sequence, where it was like thundering and lightning, and then the shadow of the lightning, there was a man holding a shadow of a man holding a knife, plunging it down into another person. I'm like, oh, that's great. Oh, it's great. And then my dad showed me the Clue movie with what's his name? Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Yeah, with Tim Curry. And there was a telegram that got shot on the doorstep, and he had to point out. I was like, "Oh, by the way, did you know that lady sung one of the songs you danced to when you were little?" I'm like, "Oh, great, thanks, thanks." Also, hi, Alan. Oh my goodness. Welcome in tonight. Let's examine some stuff.
This rounded wooden figure isn't the most charming, is it?
I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Naruhodo. It's an artist's mannequin, I believe. Used when practicing sketching the human form in different poses.
Really? It's not exactly what you call a typical figure for that purpose, though, is it?
No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite so full-figured before.
Well, if you want to draw a full-figured person, it's the right tool for the job. Who could it be for?
I don't know.
Look, there's a photograph in this frame here.
Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman.
He looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I'd say. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think?
My, Mr. Naruhodo. I didn't know you had a sense for matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing that I thought of. I'm not smart, just impulsive.
Oh, I can't look at the trash can? Or is it a bucket of paint? Probably a bucket of paint. Is it temp? No, can't even look at the tipped over canvas.
Ah, this looks like the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Do not feed. What is this place, a zoo?
Don't feed the olives.
You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park.
For the pigeons, yes. This is a person. Oh, man. I hope she hasn't read this. It's okay, I can't read.
Oh no.
There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you were a patient here, I'm sure you'd take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock. Even if it's only a flimsy looking one.
There's a lock
It's not-
on that?
It's not a useful looking place for a cabinet.
Not really. Like,
'Cause
maybe if it
getting to
was...
anything and there'd be a pain.
I know, right? I say maybe if it was 5 feet to the right, but...
Yeah.
Oh, I've no doubt you'd managed to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Miss Susato.
But you're a very resourceful gentleman, Mr. Naruhodo. Even in your sleep, you'd figure it out. That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings.
We've been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though.
I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her.
Alright then, let's see what's inside. Change clothes, no doubt.
We're
and-
taking her bag right in front of her.
Yeah?
No, Mr. Naruhodo! You must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings.
But the young maiden might have chocolates or biscuits. Or caramel.
What, Carmel, go to Mr. Sholmes.
We'll give you some sugar.
Oh my god. He'll rip off another button on that coat.
A mouse, Mr. Naruhodo! An enormous mouse!
Huh. Rooming in a hospital? That doesn't seem the best.
But it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of this facility. If that's what you were thinking.
Oh, we can move. Oh, I was gonna say, I swear Shelm was doing something goofy over here.
Ah, this looks like the treatment notes for whoever's occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital.
The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so...
He or she is probably running around the hospital then.
Oh dear. How worrying.
What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. This has to be a HIPAA violation.
That's not created yet. Don't worry about it. OSHA? HIPAA? I don't know what this means.
There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet. Look. I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two.
Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worried that you'd break the lock.
Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mrs. Soph.
Okay, have we looked at everything? I don't think there's anything under the bed, is there? No. Alright.
Good morning.
That was jarring.
Yeah. Hello, I'm, Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
Oh no! Was it your knife that... Are you the man who...
No. I'm a lawyer.
And I'm Susato Megatoba. Pleased to meet you. Oh no! Was it your knife then? Are you the one? No, I assure you. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you regained consciousness and wanted to come give you our best wishes. Best wishes? For me? Thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back.
Damn.
I don't think that's related, actually.
Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards for herself to put herself down.
Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick, I couldn't see a thing. I don't know what voice I'm trying to give her. That was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time. But the case has been solved, hasn't it? Well, I've been here in the hospital, I mean.
Indeed it has, my dear madame. Spectacularly, by none other than I, Sherlock Holmes.
Mr. Sholmes! As you well know, it was Mr. Naruhodo's hard work in court that solved the case.
Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly.
I wonder who it could be.
I wonder.
Oh, I see. Me coming round seems to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry. I should never have regained consciousness. It was selfish of me.
Oh, no! We're also relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. Really, we are.
That kind of attitude. Maybe your surname should be Blue, not Green.
I'm sorry, what?
What?
Oh.
She's not allowed to eat. But
Okay.
a man with infinite fishing
Okay,
hooks might be
sorry.
showing that-
I read it as a woman who can't eat faces and a man with infinite fish and chips. So I was like, I'm sorry.
She's not allowed to eat faces. What's not to get?
I don't. I'm like, I could just be tired. There was 3 options to this. I could be tired, and it's just going whoo airplane over my head. I could be misreading this, or I read it exactly right, and this is I don't know. Oh my gosh.
So, you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh no. Oh, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art, really. At the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts.
Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts. Great Britain is such a wonderful country.
Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts? You know, in the hospital.
Oh no, actually. I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road.
I see. How very interesting.
Oh no. Is it?
Brixton is some 10 stops away from the underground from here. And Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton town centre. Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes? Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, built in by those inferior means. Including the maleficent Mr. Moustache. Inferior means? I suppose the Suki Sun does fit the bill. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine arts student to be walking in such a district. That's all. What's this? He's suddenly clammed off.
Mr. Sholmes, you should be ashamed for yourself prying into a... You should be ashamed for yourself? Yes, for yourself and of yourself. Prying into a young maiden's private affairs.
Ha 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 ha! Oh dear me, do forgive me.
If you don't mind. I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things.
Oh, yes, of course. We won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. Is there no fodder here? No fodder! Narrow fodder now? Well, if you're looking for Mr. Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me, but... Ah, Mr. Narrow fodder. Good. Here's for you. It's a message from, Saucy Nutsmeg. Oh, right. Mr. Nutsmeg sent a message to me?
It just makes me think, have you seen that Uber Eats commercial? Or I'm
No.
not... There's this Uber Eats... There's like this whole like series of Uber Eats commercials that are of like popular people getting delivered. You know, I guess Uber Eats does more than just food now, and so whoever the deliverer is like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that you could, you know, get this from Uber Eats. And the person receiving it is like, yeah, of course. And it says like it takes to remember something, you have to forget something or something like that, right? And so that's the whole premise for these commercials of these famous people forgetting like iconic things about themselves. And I don't know who they are, who she is specifically, which one she was. But I guess David Beckham is married to a Spice Girl. And so they're supposedly in their house then talking about the Uber Eats thing. And David Beckham goes along, says something along the lines like, "Remember, it makes me think of remember that one time when you were when you were a nutmeg maiden." He's like, "No, that's not right." Or it's like they go through all the different like herbs and stuff like that, and they finally go Spice Girls, and they're like, "Nah, that's not it." But I just think I heard nutmeg, nutmeg, and it made me think of this damn commercial I keep seeing on anytime I open YouTube.
I don't get commercials.
Mm. I don't want to pay for YouTube Premium, but my TV doesn't give me commercials, so alas, I sit through them.
Yeah. Why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Nutmeg? From Mr. Nutmeg?
Mr. Nutmeg.
Exactly. What's going on? Alright, it's Susato line.
It's
Here we
okay.
go. What's the Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time in the morning? What are you waiting for? Let me see that. It was not... whatever. Oh. I gave him like a Gregson voice.
You were anticipating him.
Well, it was most unexpected. Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? He says. Have you not seen this note?
No, you snatched it.
No, how could I have? It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls. Case of murder, no less. We must depart at once.
Murder?
Call a cab. Time's of the essence. But the trouble is... we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit and slaughter him once we did. That'll be entirely convenient.
Convenient? What do you mean?
It's all here in the note, my dear fellows.
Hell, let's fucking read it!
Murder we must investigate. Took place at Mr. Mustache's lodgings.
Oh dear goodness.
Wait, what?
Oh my.
What did you call me?
Fiacre? Fiacre?
Fiacre.
Fiacre?
Small four-wheeled carriage.
Oh my god. We're going into like the synonyms and nuances of names of all the fucking carriages in London at this time, I guess. I'll hail a fiacre at once.
It was only yesterday that Soseki-san was in court, and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence.
Man, this guy really couldn't get out of the country soon enough.
And now, the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address. He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seemed to us at the time, but we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought. Natsume was dead the whole time!
Well, he's been dead inside for quite a while now.
Fair.
21st February, 7:18 a.m. Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ground floor. There he is!
Oh! What on earth?
Oh my. The gentleman's deceased without question. He's dead.
Locum student Naruto Esquire. Mr. Natsume. Oh, why? Why is this happening? Why to me? I've only just got out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I wake up the next day to this.
Oh.
Apparently Chai is here to torment.
I know, I saw that. Hi, Chai. Why are we
Not
here
sure
to
what that
torment? Why
means.
are you here to torment Soph?
Did Arya send you to torment me?
Ah,
They were both talking in Lux's stream earlier.
It's okay. We don't need to torment Soph. We don't need to torment anyone. It's okay.
No tormenting in this stream.
No torment in this
Plus
stream.
for calling Michi cute.
Oh my god. Stream delay is probably stream delay. I'm looking at my my stream preview and we just found the body.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hot second. My lovely internet. Apologies.
Woo!
Apologies in advance, or I guess technically in delay.
Yeah. Wake up the next day to this. No early bird should catch a worm like this. Woe for worm without wiggle! I see you're in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. Ag! Not the horrible hairlock Sholmes.
That was a great ag. I felt the
They're
pain of
hard
that
to
one.
do because I have to
Yeah, you have.
do them in such a way that they actually come across on Discord.
You know, you have to temper it some
There's
way.
a lot of intention behind them.
I know it was so great that like I felt like just the strained like animosity of just like, like, I'm trying to restrain myself, but oh man.
I mean, given how I have to do it, it makes sense.
It does. It was just really good. I just wanted to applaud your eye because I felt it. I felt the emotion behind it. Oh, you came of your own accord, Chai? You're just evil. Oh, that's not nice. Oh, man, no wonder Arya hangs out with you. You're evil. Man, what does it say about us, though? Are we evil secretly?
Maybe? I don't know. I do bully Arya a lot, so...
Stop, Chai! No, don't use that word. You're gonna torment me now too. Arya really did send you. Arya really did send you. No, no. I gotta go. It's ad break time. Think about what you've done, Chai. We'll be right back. We're taking our hourly ad break to keep pre-roll ads off for all y'all. So hang tight here just a second, and we'll be right back into finding out the murder of the Jester Man. Alrighty. You're back. Also, you better thought about what you've done, Chai.
Okay.
Never utter the eight-letter B word again.
Not much of a delay, apparently.
Apparently, not much of a delay.
Must have fixed.
Very good. Good. I'm glad you thought about what you've done. Reflection is good. It's how we grow as people. Okay, let's continue talking to Soseki here.
Ooh, shove off! Show yourself the door. I never invited you.
That is not better. That is not better, Chai.
Cringe fails a new one on me.
Oh my gosh. My lord. Oh dear goodness. Mr. Shums came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume.
I'm entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you? Gah!
Hi, Gregson.
Here they are, already. The busybodies. Ah, Inspector Gregson. What a pleasant surprise. Pleasant, is it? Gives me a hot butt every time I see your face at a crime scene, Sholmes.
The greasy food's probably not helping you.
No. Huh. I'd deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food.
Gotta write a fucking Ace Attorney game. That's what we've learned through this. What we learned through this is that we are well equipped to write the next Ace Attorney game.
That's what all this is leading toward.
What?
That's what it's all leading toward.
Oh, this is just like our research phase. We're getting our toes wet and we're getting an understanding to the writing style. Okay, I see.
It's like I subjected a bot to 200 hours of Law and Order shows and made it write its own script.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But in this case, the bot is a computer construct designed for creating memories.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
I create murderous judicial memories. What a phrase. Michi 2024, I create murderous judicial memories.
Good morning, Inspector. It's a crime scene. Don't go touching anything. Or good morning to you too, Sunshine. He's just having a bad time with people not saying good morning to him.
He's like, I just want someone to wish me a good morning. He's like, I'm here trying to be optimistic and I'm not feeling it, but I'm forcing myself. I'm faking it until I make it, and no one else is reciprocating. No one is yes anding me, and I'm losing it.
I don't know if I've ever seen his feet before.
I can't remember if it was like that or if they were more clothed last time, but I know in the last case, when he was in his more like casual robed wear, he did have Geta sandals like that. I do remember that. But I don't think we'd seen his feet up until that point.
Huh. What a terrible thing to have happened. It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. And this existence of excruciating experiences. So the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just one story up, isn't it? Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose. So did you know the victim? Were you friends? Do you have friends?
You know the answer to that, Mr. Mr. Naruto.
Sir?
You said the F word.
What's the matter with Soseki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it? Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. But did he ever invite me to his room? Never. On my honor, I swear it. They do weird butt stuff at night.
What an extreme reaction. Is this why he's your cringe male wife, Chai? You're probably wishing you never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
We found him here. I felt wretched. Which is why I sent word asking you to come. Through that inspector over there.
Okay, let's look at him. Ah.
The inspector was sent to help Ryunosuke come.
Oh my god, I knew you were gonna say something about that. Arya, I swear!
Ah yes, great timing.
Arya, I swear!
Apparently my brain... Hi, Arya. My brain is apparently in the gutter tonight, so...
You've come at a great time. There's, we don't say the B word around here. We've established that.
You act like you weren't literally just talking to each other in, like, 2 different other chats.
It's like running across someone, you know, it's like you leave work and you're like, bye coworker, have a good night, and then you go to the grocery store and you're like, oh my god, you're at the grocery store too, hi! Loud bleep because Michi's making a say baby girl. Oh my gosh.
Voldemort who must not be named.
Yeah. God. My goodness.
Boy, I said hands off. You're gonna mess up my crime scene. Oh, no, I just wanted to look, that's all. No chance. I know you're kind. You'll mess it up just by looking at it. Someone's in a bad mood.
He's got
Everyone had to
heartburn.
wake up at 5 this morning.
Yeah.
What's the sign?
The verbal one, apparently.
Different live streams. I guess it's kind of like when I literally was just in a voice call with somebody. I think I've done it with Arya, where like we'll be in a voice call with her and I, and then we'll jump into a group chat for Final Fantasy. I'm like, oh hey Arya, a long time no see. And
Right.
literally, we're just talking.
Yeah. You're just timeline jumping? Don't mind us? Oh, okay, I see. It's
Well, it's just playing a game with time shenanigans.
Ah, indeed. Enjoy your look, Arya. Thank you, thank you. Also, it's no
There's
one.
certainly some bad air in here, isn't there?
It's
Because you
not.
can't open the window.
Man, it's stuffy. There's a dead body in here. Gregson's got heartburn. No wonder he's just in a grumpy mood. Everyone's woken up at 5 in the fucking morning.
No. Alright. Sounds like I better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some favor.
I don't know if he wants curry.
I think everything's gonna fall into that same thing.
Probably, yeah. And Gregson's gonna be like, "Oi, sunshine, don't touch my crime scene."
So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he? Sure, yep. Might as well be. Mr. William Shamspeare. He was a lodger here. As you can probably tell, he was an actor. A bit of a dead loss, as it happens, or just dead.
Mr. Shemspeare.
It was the landlord, old Mr. Gerdeb, and the other lodger, Mr. Knotsmay, who found him. The fellow didn't rise at his usual hour, so Gerdeb got word and kicked the door down. What? Doesn't Mr. Gerdeb have a bad leg? Oh yeah, you're right there. There was a jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking. Really? Seems like he's on. Victim was pretty hard up, it seems. Never even done some time inside for petty crimes. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. His only acquaintances were the people in his house. That better be some really good curry. Also, I think we were trying to get Gregson with the curry, who is not dead.
Yes,
He's just
indeed.
eating infinite fish.
Yeah, you could probably curry some favor with Oda from Fugo Stray Dogs.
There you go.
Spicy curry.
Miserable life and a miserable end to it. So, what exactly is Mr. Nutsman still doing here? He's not involved in this investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene? Well, I'm not saying it's because the fellow looks odd or anything, but he acts suspicious. But I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the cohabiter.
Bragg said.
You nearly said culprit there, didn't you?
Oh dear. Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again.
Certainly seems that way. He does just come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he?
Poor man. Unfortunate.
Anyway, I can't say much until the coroner gets here. Well, I don't think the fella's been gone that long, but he's still warm. Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to such a dead body.
Yes, Mr. Sholmes, do you have something to say?
No. Why would you think such a thing? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Huh. You need only observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating, naturally.
Okay.
There's nothing natural about that pose.
That's the pose that you strike whenever someone's like, act natural.
That is an act of natural.
Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery?
Patience, my dear madam, patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened.
My goodness! Isn't that everything we didn't know, Mr. Sholmes? Hi, Necro. Thanks for the celebrate. Welcome in.
Now that you propose the idea, I believe one could indeed see it that way. What are you looking for, Sholmes?
Looking
At
for...
the present time... Oh?
I was gonna say, he's looking for signs of illicit activities from the night before.
At the present time, I've managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions. The first, there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. Ah! Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow? No, don't mind me. Forget I was here. And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense. Alright, Mr. Natsume. You're reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions. No, please. Pretend I'm not here.
You've interjected twice now.
Invisible, inevitable, inscrutable, insignificant. Impossible to ignore.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail.
But of course. Let the theatrical tragedy before us be unravelled by my great deductions, presented for your pleasure in 2 acts.
2x and a clown horn.
I've heard some truly astounding Greek deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past, and had to fix them completely.
Yeah.
No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time? So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Sherlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Act 1.
The game is afoot. Cause of death.
Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in the disconsolate room last night. Foam in the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison.
Or he had just a really foamy latte.
Yeah. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate, which contains, you'll observe,
A chunk of butter?
one half of a sizable bar of soap. Meaningful? Indubitably.
Sure.
Why is this soap set to purposefully upon the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact. Yes.
Maybe he had a dirty mouth.
Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. That's just like, he's like, are you seeing this shit?
Looks into the camera like on The Office.
It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taking up arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. Yet the struggle against the hunger was in vain. For in the end, he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast.
Yep.
But London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate.
A poisoned soap bar. That seems like it would do real good.
Yeah. You don't eat the soap, it's fine. The soap and the lather about the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap. Though personally, I have a greater interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course.
Alright.
That's what happened to him.
What?
So that's what happened to him.
Okay, little dance time.
Cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder?
Right, you
Oh,
won't. I'm sorry. Go on.
The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? A single teacup suggests the answer. Natsume, are you okay?
It's just his normal twitchiness. Don't worry about it. He's a naturally fidgety man.
To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock.
I got kicked in this morning, supposedly.
They're forced open now. At the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sold key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. They love their closed room puzzles in this one.
They do.
Alone with his inferior soap, from whence wafted an inferior scent. And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end, in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter. Great, we don't have anything to do here then. Let's head out.
Let's skedaddle. Not worry about it. We're good to go.
Thus concludes the final act of the Sherlock Holmes' Great Deduction. Now look at your wrists.
Gosh damn it. Mr. Naruhodo, off we go now! What?
There's just one thing, Sir Sholmes.
Actually, a few.
It's like 4 or 5 things. You're disposed of identifying just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Betting what concerns you. Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap? It's quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It's a curious thing, but one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. I should know.
How extraordinary.
In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. Yep. You've eaten it, you mean?
I was curious. I was curious to know what it tasted like after all these mothers I hear telling their children to eat. They need to wash their mouth out with soap.
My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut.
And did it?
As I writhed in agony on the floor and split the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did.
Oh my god.
The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did.
There's something that troubles me as well, actually.
Oh, what's that?
It's Mr. Natsume.
Huh.
I couldn't help noticing him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Sholmes' deductions touched a nerve somehow.
Nonsense! Well, that clenched the teeth episode, didn't it? That clenched teeth episode didn't last. There we go.
Okay. I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth.
Yes, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do.
Yes. Well, we must pick out the keywords in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions. And discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place.
Oh yeah, totally. In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day?
Here, let me stand atop the stage first before you start.
Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Sherlock Holmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1.
Chorus correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
It'd be funny if the third button was gone.
That would
I
be
guess
funny.
this is in the past, so it would have been.
Ah, that's true. Well, no, yeah, it is in the past. I was like, hold on a second. I was like, wait, is this morning? I'm like, no, it was this morning, and then we went to a a flashback that's also in the morning.
Right.
Okay, let's go find the keywords. Clearly indicates the use of poison. Oh, what was the button again? Shoot. Hold on. Okay. There is no button. History autoplay options. Maybe it's on this one? He ate this soap. Or there we go. Let's just let the tutorial again.
Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something, or about to eat something.
Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I would prefer to use a fork than attempt it with chopsticks.
And of course, only half the bar of soap is left on the plate.
But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate the soap. Victim really eats soap. Other piece of soap.
Could be that the man was about to eat it. Of course, the other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of soap on the table, in short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious, really, for no depths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap.
Yeah.
Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, only took a single bite. Now that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. An excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. We're back in the loop now.
Yeah, the contents of the plate.
Mr. Shulman is still pushing the soap argument, then.
Perhaps he's suggesting the man licked the soap rather than ate it.
If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. There are no signs of any food in the room at all.
Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it?
We've had several trials about
Yes.
this.
Yonosuke, remember the first one where you were wrongly accused? Where could the poison have been placed? The teacup!
Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries.
It's been a hot second since we've had this, his logic and reasoning extravaganza. I've forgotten how much I love the, like, room pans and, like, the character models just swiftly spinning and sliding into place across the screen.
Yeah.
It's like, it's definitely not Ace Attorney, but it's like, it has the same vibe of Ace Attorney, just with modern technology. Ridiculousness. I love it.
Then it would appear that this victim drank every last drop, except for the drops on the table.
Yep.
There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death is clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup.
Part 2.
The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, whether we come to the next question. Whether or not we're in a loop again.
Yep. The Last Supper.
The Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deductions so far.
Yes, so we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamspeare was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that. But what troubles me is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Sholmes suggest it.
There's more to this deduction than it seems.
We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for some more clues.
There's a teacup in his hand.
Ah, there is.
It's empty. It's the only cup on the table.
It would appear so, yes. And when you consider those facts, Mr. Sholmes' reasoning seems highly logical.
But it's always the same in these deductions. The real truth is always buried a little deeper than the great detective suggests.
Mr. Naruto, you seem very dubious of Mr. Sholmes all of a sudden. Oop. There's another teacup.
The man dine and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along. Ah! In other words, this is a strong indication that all the victims' Last Supper, there was a guest present. At the very least, we can say now with certainty somebody else was here in this room last night taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know who exactly was in this room at the time of the victim's death? Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. Not sure I like where this deduction is going now.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the Halcyon? I'm afraid it's too late.
The golden days, basically.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much soap.
But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have very bad feeling about.
Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruto.
No, I suppose not. Time to look around again. First glance, it seems that only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially.
I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read: The Picture of Monsieur le Co. What a word.
Yep.
Canterbury Yearnings and A Meal for Gabrielle. Gabrielle?
Word? Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before.
It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day.
What? Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident, when the screen was stabbed. Suseki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them. That's right.
And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim.
Yet Mr. Natsume claims never to have been here before. What does this mean, do you think?
I really don't know what to make of it. Pile of familiar books. Empty bottle. Candle. This candle will show us.
It'll light the way.
Those glasses are suspiciously set aside from everything else too.
Yeah. Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. Quite so. It's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's a link to the truth. Ah! Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a second-hand bookshop. That's just a coincidence. In that case, you'll be able to bring the same 3 titles up from your own room, will you not? This very moment. No, never. Negotiable. Can't bring your own copies here. It proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you can conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned that. In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. Yep. He danced his way home. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there is only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in this room last night as a result of poisoning. That same night, the victim had a visitor. That visitor? Was you, Mr. Sasaki Natsume.
What a duo.
This concludes the final act of Herlock Sholden's Great Deduction. I wonder if this will also be a non-trial, like the boat was.
That's true, yeah.
Gurg. Not again, not again, not again! Not again! Then we should not survey. Gregson had to watch all that happen. It appears you're gonna have to accompany me down to the yard. Again. But wait! Hold your horses. Ace. Door, key, locked. Entry, exit, entirely impossible. The Sylvester has been even stranger than normal. What? You think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy. What? You live in the same building after all. You'd have plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. But... It's really me! Sorry, sir. You get your chance to give you a solid story later. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. You horrible hairlock Sholmes! He really has found himself in our trap now, hasn't he? Come on now, you no dilly-dallying outside this carriage waiting. Welcome, student, Mr. Norwood Esquire. I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but... You have to help me. Please, please. I'm innocent. Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it. And one more thing. Oh, yes? My poor little kitty cat. Please give him his breakfast for me.
Little Waggy.
And so, his evil curse still apparently unbroken. Sasagi-san found himself once again the prime suspect in a case of murder.
Actual murder this time.
Yeah. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you. No, don't want that. Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. You can examine the crime scene in more detail now.
Yes, that's right. Ah, and of course.
What?
Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garadeb, who discovered Mr. Shamsphere.
Ah, Mr. John Garadeb, yes.
I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual.
Right, we must remember to go and talk to him later.
Right. Let's poke the body. Oh, the poor man. So young to die. Do you suppose it was a very painful death, being poisoned as he was?
I don't know. All we can do now is hope that he'll be reborn to a better life.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder... Do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer will help a British soul?
Sorry?
I made sure I had a reference at the ready for just such an occasion as this, actually. This book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Deported, the British Way. I'll just reread it now. One moment.
There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there?
Look at his costumes.
Look at these extravagant, bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with its grim, shady goings on.
This one looks like a king's attire.
A king? always dreamt of being king.
Oh, I think you'd be more suited for. I think you'd be more suited to a feudal lord, a daimyo or such like.
The Chanmage? Top knot? Every Japanese man wishes he had a Chanmage.
Oh, you look wonderful with one, and you already have the sword.
Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a Chanmage and a sword? Nothing particular of note.
I went too high. There's not much on these shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and bottle. And both of them are cracked.
Yes, not much use, are they? What's the matter?
Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper. That's all.
Prosecutor Lord Van Zykes?
Always thinking about him. Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste that he should donate. I was thinking it's a waste and that he should donate some to the needy.
You can suggest it next time we meet.
Window. As we've seen from the outside, the window is completely bricked up. A vestige of the form of window tax that Britons had to pay.
What strange things they used to tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for the number of windows they had in the property, it's extraordinary.
Sunlight tax.
Yep.
It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to block up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh.
What is it, Zusto?
If you look closely, a number of the bricks are loose. So,
Alright. Oh, yes, it looks as though an amateur has broken out of a few of them just here. Is it Mr. Shamspear who did it, I wonder? Being a lodger renting this room?
look at this, Mr. Naruto. On the outside, there's a little ledge. And there's something on it.
What, outside?
What to say about it? It's so cold outside. You can feel it through this gap.
It did snow all last night. It would be cold. But more importantly, what is it on the ledge out there? What are those snow-covered lumps?
It's more bars of soap.
Soap? What bars of soap doing lined up on a ledge outside the window?
I have no idea. But the pair of them look rather charming like that.
Still, that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window?
No dirty vampires allowed in my house.
No. I think perhaps we should take one. There are two, after all.
Oh dear. I suppose we could.
So I can give it a taste later.
No! Oh. What's this? Look here at the soap.
Ah!
Do you see? In the middle there. There's a patch that's a different color. It's sort of transparent, but
Some sort of fancy design, I suppose? Only in Great Britain.
it looks like the Hinamaru flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful. It's probably a very expensive brand.
Expensive? What's it doing in this ramshackle old room?
Bar soap has been entered into the court record. I'm glad I looked at the window again, even though it kicked me out.
And here we have another disproportionately large machine. This looks like a meter of some kind.
Ah, this is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins.
Ah, I see. Yes, now you pointed it out. You can see that there's a slot just there, just here, that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean if you put a coin in here?
That's right. That would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating.
So if you're a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in the freezing cold?
Yes. Or if you're a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank.
Thank goodness there's no meter in our office.
Oh yeah?
This is a gas wall light, isn't it? Must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall.
Gas lights. A gas stove. My goodness, I took a nap and I'm still yawning. London really is a city of gas.
But now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they?
Oh, yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there.
Well, I much prefer a real fire anyway. It's so much cozier.
Depending on how it's set up too, it heats up a house better. This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think. Isn't it?
Where does the audience sit, though? The nightly Shakespeare performances.
They never come, so there's not a worry. There's no worry to think about the audience legroom. Actors aspiring to the great stage must practice their art, Mr. Naruhodo, with or without an audience. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the defense in your office.
What?
Then you could practice your art every single day.
Shouting objection to the wall. I'll think about it. If you promise to down the beard and play the role of the judge.
I'll just stand opposite of you and slam my foot onto the table and throw wine glasses.
Ryunosuke's into some weird shit.
Well, if that would help you achieve your goal.
This I have to see.
Okay. We are hitting the top of the hour here. So we should go ahead and take our early ad break to keep pre-roll ads off for you guys. So, if you'll hang tight here real quick, we will continue our investigation to find out exactly what happened to this man here. Be right back. Alright, we are back after a long pause. Sorry for that longer break. Oh, thanks for the celebrate, Soph. Okay. Did we finish exploring? I think we might have. There's something on the ground. No, it's just my imagination. Okay, I think we've looked at what we can. I don't know why we can't look at more of the body since Gregson's not here, but so be it. So many places to go. Let's go to Mr. Garadeb's room. February 21st, the Garadeb's room.
Here we are again, the eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode.
We're here because Mr. Garadeb's the one who discovered the incident this morning. Don't forget.
Ah, you chaps, eh? Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday. It was quite a trial. Not sure Mr. Garadeb was anyone, really. Came straight back here after all that business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bolly nonsense this morning.
I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garadeb.
Yes, I suppose you'd like to know all about that dead loss of an actor chap in the ground floor room. These were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they?
Is it British idiom?
Maybe? Heard that? Okay.
Don't worry about it. Did you jump off the bed? Okay, comfy, I guess, Toho.
It's been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what had happened. Ah, well, that hopeless actor chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no Polly answer.
And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door.
Well, I called him a rum-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course. Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour.
That's very true, Mr. Naruhodo. If 30 minutes is oversleeping warranted such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning.
Well, you know, better be safe than sorry and all that.
Why are you sweating?
Look at me, or is he avoiding our gaze now, all of a sudden?
Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door.
Victim's name is Mr. Shamspear, I believe. Is that right? Yes, William Shamspear. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now.
And how would you describe him?
In a word, destitute.
Destitute?
Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that is either broke or has Polly screw loose. It's hard to choose which category Saseki-san would fall into.
¿Por qué no los dos? Mr. Naruhodo, that's a little rude.
He was doing research as well. Research? Into what? Soap. Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. Got a few plays on the old board myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that. Sure.
Oh Hamlet, is it to be or not to be? Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sao in Japan, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated.
Seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sal, though. Someone was too heavy-handed there.
Could be worse, he could be known as Sword Art Online.
True. There were a lot of costumes in the victim's room, actually, weren't there?
Of course, Mr. Natsume is a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shakespeare would have had much in common.
Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not that.
Mr. Naruhodo! Really? How rude!
After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Do you notice anything strange between then and this morning? Well now, must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, as I remember. It was completely dark already. The failed actor chap was out at the time. Scared up noticed that there was no light from his room or something, I suppose. Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shamsphere got back. The chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. Suppose he met his end sometime after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark there. Well, thank you. It's very illuminating. Is everything alright, Mrs. Snow?
Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garridem, you were up here in your room all that evening. All evening, if I've understood correctly.
I'm a big fan of stairs, not with this blasted leg.
Then, how is it that you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor, I mean.
Yeah. It's a very good point. Can't imagine that you could hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it? I say, I know what you're thinking, and it's a bully outrage. Ex-military, don't you know? Don't go around spying on my tenants, why would I?
Then how did you know, Mr. Garridem?
It's the gas woman. The gas tells me everything. The gas? What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything? Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes. Is it a gas leak?
Hmm.
No, it couldn't have been, because there was fire in the room.
Yeah,
Maybe. We don't know when the candles were lit, but I don't know.
true.
Yes, I more or less worked that out.
Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside. And the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main.
Yes, I understand that too. Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen? well, obviously the room would get brighter. Exactly. At the same time, lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment. What? They dim? Why?
Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual. And that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mightn't it?
Yes, of course. Because everything's connected to a single supply pipe.
Is that supposed to happen, though? It sounds rather undesirable.
Not a good point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless, long worn out. Barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposite's also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they glow brighter in the rest of the house. Ah, right. I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere. You've got it.
Oh, of course. Because when people come back home in the evening, and before they go to sleep at night, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out their lamps and fires.
Clever. In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above it uses slightly different amounts of gas. By watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house.
Gosh, that's fascinating, Mr. Garrideb. Absolutely fascinating.
Oh well, nothing to it really. I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case either. But I'd like to know why Mr. Garrideb is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I think there's more to it than idle curiosity. He's an old man who can't go anywhere. He's bored out of his gourd.
Yeah.
But also a little weird.
Everything's still kind of broken, a little charred. I don't know if there's anything to really look at in here. Have we really? We haven't gotten anything from him, have we? No, we haven't. So, that's what we gotten. See anything unusual off the bat here? Do you know anything about Soph?
Mr. Garrideb, can I show you this? Been quite a couple of days, as you can quite imagine. I'm afraid I'm rather tired. I haven't really got the energy in the old eyeballs, to be honest with you. Some other time, though.
No bar, so. Why do we have this?
Well,
And we have this too, so. Oh, well, okay. I understand why we might have that one, but. Interesting. The Briar Road. So! 21st February, Briar Road.
it's time to clean up the neighborhood.
Tough on crime, tough on grime.
With the exception of the top floor, where Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb lived, all the windows are bricked up.
Yes, it's because of an old window tax that was charged on the number of windows a property had. In order to pay less tax, the poorer members of society filled in many of their windows.
They really want to make sure you know about it. The tax has since been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened up again, surely?
Unfortunately, it would appear that I'm yawning in the middle of my sentence again. It would appear that the residents of this district can't afford to pay to have the work done.
Yes, that is a sad state of affairs.
Especially for people like poor Mr. Natsume, who have to live all cooped up in a windowless room.
Suppose that's the price you pay for living in very cheap accommodation.
It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that. No! I wanted to talk about the soap! No soap.
It might be that is the one bar of soap that we left.
I'm assuming so, but you know how Ace Attorney likes to overdo things and be like, oh my gosh, do you remember when we looked at blah blah blah?
Yeah.
So I thought we were going to do something like that, and we might get some more information since we're viewing it from the outside. You know, like if there's something in the bushes or something. Alas, only the window tax prevails. There always seems to be a bicycle outside the Garadeb residence. I read that bicycles are extremely popular all over Great Britain in the moment, in fact.
That one seems very warped, though. Especially the front wheel. Is that to make it more of a challenge to ride, do you think?
Yeah, you get more more muscle burning, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I'm afraid that may be a result of the rider's incompetence. For the front wheel to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider may have been similarly afflicted.
Then there's a good chance Mr. Natsume has been practicing on the bicycle, I think.
Oh dear. I fear you may be right.
Garadeb household. And Mr. Natsume's lodgings. In a prominent position here, there on the corner. Sometimes when I look at the building, I can't help but feeling it's a bit of a slant.
Really now?
Yeah?
It does rather look as though it would collapse in even the smallest earthquake, doesn't it?
And isn't it supposed to be haunted as well? I think I might have a hunch as to why Soseki-san is such a hunched back. The fencing is broken by the window, though.
That's true. Not an item, though.
Yep.
Realistically, I thought you were observant.
Why has somebody built this snowman on some sort of pedestal, do you think?
That's not a pedestal, Mr. Naruhodo. That's part of the snowman's body.
Really? But it already has a perfectly good body.
Well, it's true that British snowmen are usually made with 2 balls of snow. Perhaps this is a foreigner.
And now we're looking at him as if he's strange. Poor man. I know how it feels.
If anything, it's Japanese and British 2-ball snowman that are the strange ones, isn't it? Oh! Hi, Asfar! Welcome in! Thanks for the celebrate. Hydrate, too. I'll take a hydrate. Okay. After all, real people do have 3 sections. Head, torso, and legs.
Do you ever think that perhaps you think about things too much?
I've been told
It's-
I overthink things.
Unsettling to believe that the bottom sphere of a snowman is its legs?
Yep.
That
To
would be
me,
worse if you made actual legs.
I wouldn't say the bottom represents legs to me so much as like that's the head, that's like from the shoulders to the waist, and then that's like from the waist down to like past your hips. That's what it looks like to me, at least.
Long torso.
Long torso, curvy body. I don't think
She
there's
got them curves.
I don't think there's anything to look around here, unfortunately. So
Maybe
yes,
it's just like to help you be like, ah, there's soap out there.
I-
You should look at it from the inside.
I guess, I don't know. 21st February, local prison, cell 9. He's not here yet. Is there something I had to good? Hi. Here I thought I could get away from having to look at everything in here.
Good to see Mr. Garrett's Medal of Honor still proudly displayed on the wall.
The inscription reads, "For distinguished participation," if you remember.
Yes, I remember, because I remember thinking even if I might stand a chance of picking up honors like that. Wouldn't know to look at me now, perhaps, but I had my devil-may-care days, you know. Devil-may-care? What did you get up to? Well, all the past now, of course. And best left there. That's not. I want to know now.
That's your military uniform, isn't it, Mr. Garrett?
Well, ceremonial garb, yes. Been hanging on the wall ever since my retirement bash. Not in active service now, you know. Doesn't mean much to me anymore. You could have the old thing if you wanted it.
You're giving me a costume for cosplay? Well, it might suit Lord Van Zykes, perhaps. An overly ostentatious outfit like this could just I can speak. An overly ostentatious outfit like this could be just what he needs.
Give a little Natsume there.
Hmm.
Very tactful, Miss Susato. Very tactful indeed.
Also, by no means foreshadowing what Van Zyg's potential predecessor.
There's a single apron drying on the enormous cannon-shaped clothes horse. Look. Clothes horse?
No, Mr. Naruto. That's a real cannon.
I knew that. Just testing you. Piece of history, that is. Seen plenty of action on the battlefield, I can tell you. And the old girl and I are just enjoying peace and quiet with retirement together. And of course, come in handy if the enemy decided to launch an attack again. Is there a war going on that I don't know about?
Please don't point this at your wife when she gets out of jail, Mr. Garrett.
Ryunosuke, I think there is like perpetually a war that at least somebody doesn't know about. We know what the screen is hiding now. The aftermath of the fiery altercation the other day. I suppose I'll be able to clear that mess up for some time now.
Oh dear. Must be a very difficult situation for you.
I'll say. People talk about twists of fate and whatnot. There's a twist and a half. Run, show all around. He's clearly struggling with everything that's happened. There's a good view over the wintry East End from up here. It's an impressively gray scene. There's really nothing comparable to in Japan. And down below, Briar Road, partly blanketed in snow.
And the pavement where poor Miss Green was struck in the back by the knife.
Thinking about it, this is the only room in the building that actually has a window to the outside world. Sometimes Great Britain really does seem like a strange land, doesn't it?
I suppose all foreign cultures seem strange at first. Imagine how an Englishman would feel on arriving in Japan and seeing people with a chonmage top knot.
Well, that's a good point. It's an impressive collection of cakes on that fancy silver cake stand there.
I feel sure that was full of cakes when we first investigated here as well.
Yes, quite right. I haven't touched it since.
Are you sure?
I haven't done much at all, really, since it all happened. It's rather still for me, you know.
Oh.
Almost sit still? That's an interesting phrase. Maybe you'll use that excuse when I'm next supposed to be tidying the office.
You could just tidy up, Mr. Naruhodo.
Just scrub through it.
Get to scrubbing.
These shelves look like they've been completely torn apart by a wild beast. Reminds me of the Battle of Maywan, don't you know? Yeah, I think you mentioned that last time. Now, the experiences of a seasoned veteran. Enemy had us surrounded on all sides. Really thought we were done for, the whole Bolly company. Taking a real pounding from their cannons, so all we could do was run for our lives. Oh, I thought the story was going in a different direction, actually. Well, the whole experience taught me one thing, I can tell you.
All you have to do is be faster than the faster than the slowest person in your group.
You done for? You're really done for. That's not what the lawyer who often finds himself under fire wants to hear.
Gosh darn, what were we supposed to do in here? Oh, a copy of Rent's magazine! The Adventures of Recollections is being read all over London. Isn't it wonderful?
Actually, one asks oneself if such a singular detective could really exist.
Would you like to meet him?
But having met the chap, it's undeniable. He is most certainly singular. Singularly dangerous. That's genuine public opinion for you, Mrs. Doe. Perhaps it should be reflected in the stories.
Make no mistake, Mr. Naruhodo. I intend to snuff out the sort of public opinion we just heard, personally.
I'm starting to see where Mr. Sholmes' untainted reputation comes from now.
That's it? I finally find something. And it's just used to being a fangirl.
I like Susato, Susato and Arya would go along.
Probably.
This man has no redeeming features. Yeah, and I love him for it.
Isn't he so cool?
Can we
Arya's?
examine the bar of soap?
We've not. This part's a different color. It's an exquisite design, isn't it?
What's the British to turn a boring bar of soap into something special? It's really weird.
I quite like it. It reminds me of the Hinamaru design of the Japanese flag. I expect this is a rather expensive soap. I feel like we've said this before.
It doesn't seem likely, given who it belongs to. Very helpful.
Did we miss something in Shakespeare's room? We got everything. Oh. Ah! One of the teacups that Mr. Shakespeare and his guest drank from last night. But don't go drinking from them, Mr. Naruhodo! There's bitter poison inside!
I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, the cups are both empty.
That's true. So, one was Mr. Shakespeare's, and the other must be the cup that Mr. Natsume was drinking from.
But Soseki-san wasn't poisoned, of course. Perhaps we should take these so we can examine them in more detail later.
A pair of teacups have been entered into the court record. I was not thorough enough in my investigation.
Nope.
I got everything now. One has a stain line.
This must be the cup that Mr. Shakespeare was drinking from then. Stained on the inside.
He does that, I'm afraid. Even green tea.
Oh, really? I've never noticed before.
You never noticed.
Well, I never leave the cup long enough to leave a mark. I like to gulp it down.
You can just get chugs hot tea. Boiling hot
Probably.
tea.
He chews on the leaves for a minute and then just chugs a glass of hot water.
Yep.
Drink tea while it's hot. That's the Japanese way, isn't it?
Oh dear. So many people seem to have the wrong idea about our culture. And most of them are Japanese! This is a teacup from which Mr. Natsume was drinking.
Yes. Like the other one, the inside of this cup is completely clean.
I suppose he must have drunk the contents before the tea had a chance to leave a mark.
I always gulp it down too.
Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, if you just sip it little by little, it goes cold.
Clearly, I shall have to instruct you in the proper way to take tea. The details of the pair of teacups have been updated in the court record. I know there's a delay, but I'll ask anyway. Since when did Naruhodo come back? They came to Britain, he was just chilling and ran to be the main character. We're in a flashback arc now. So the the case where we defended Natsume, the twitchy guy, originally, where that was it. The conclusion was a knife stabbed a young girl in the back and just happened to be flung out a window. We are what, the day preceding the trial, so like it is almost immediately after the events of that particular trial, because for whatever reason Sholmes was like, whoa, shh, don't talk about this trial. So present day Ryunosuke is talking about it with Sholmes and Iris, and then Sholmes is like, oh, gotta go, I can't talk about this. We don't, you know what, I'm much a busy man, and so Iris and him started talking about it. So we're in technically a flashback. Also, Naruhodo has been here the entire time. It was Susato that left. I don't know what information we gained from that, though.
Unless he's in jail now.
Perhaps.
Because you found enough stuff.
Yeah. Oseki. No. Mr. Gyaradev care about my teacups?
Mr. Gyaradev, what is your opinion on chugging hot tea?
Can't really say these old eyes are tired, to be honest. Yep. Hmm. Susato says it seems rather expensive. The description says it's a cheap bar of soap.
Yeah.
Hmm. What am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do? The 2-minute delay? My goodness. I'm sorry.
So
That's great. Maybe 3. Oh no. Oh man. I don't know, we've been on OBS has been read the entirety of tonight, and 60.1% of stream has been dropped frames, so that's always a good sign. I'm sorry, guys. One day I'll have good internet. Okay, no, we started off here.
yeah.
I couldn't remember. I was like, I thought or the flashback. No, the flashback was starting here. What are we supposed to do? Gosh dang. 21st February. Shelms is sweet. And there's no one here. Okay.
Unless you gotta pan over to his desk or something.
Marius is here. Is he here though? Oh. This man keeping his Stradivarius like this. No wonder he broke his string. The violin didn't respect him anymore. Hi, Iris.
Iris? That's incredible concentration, that is. I learned it from spending all that time with, Holmes.
Learn to tune out everything. I find it quite remarkable how she can focus on so many different things at once.
Perhaps I should try drinking more herbal tea.
The blender said from the right. The blender from the right would be good for you, Runo.
Oh, Iris? Girl's destined for great things, I'm sure.
Very busy. The trash kind of looks like a duck. Like a rubber duck.
Yeah? If I remember correctly, this large and imposing lump of iron is called a typewriter.
They think that every single one of the adventures of Herlock Sholmes blossomed from this very machine. Ah, it's such a dreamy thought.
I actually had a go on it the other day. Metal bars that move when you hit the keys got all tangled up somehow and made Iris angry.
Mr. Naruhodo. You're ruining my dreamy thoughts. Please don't do that again.
I made Susuto-san angry as well. That's a charming little white shelf, and full of charming little bottles, too.
There's highly corrosive acids in those. Please don't touch those, Runo.
But I'm hungry!
Oh, yes, but don't touch any of those. They might explode. I wasn't too far from the truth.
A charming shelf full of charming bottles full of charring ingredients.
You know, I only mistakenly drank from one of them the other day.
What? And how?
Oh, it's just hurdy things. Don't worry about it. I think he was lucky, though. He hasn't exploded yet.
Yeah.
Chemistry can be a very hazardous occupation.
It's living with Mr. Sholmes that's the hazardous occupation, if you ask me. It always strikes me how pretty and neatly arranged this tea set is.
It's my favorite one. In fact, I think it's high time for afternoon tea. Wait here. Oh, that's the special blend I've prepared for today.
Oh, Aris, you do love your tea, don't you? You look so happy at the prospect.
And after you've drunk it, I'll collect some experimental data, if that's alright.
Just what is she about to make me drink?
I just want to know if you like my tea, Runo.
Look at all these mementos, Mr. Sholmes' past cases. You know, Mrs. Soto's eyes still sparkle every time she lays eyes on them.
But yours don't, do they, Runo?
Well, I have read The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes now, borrowed her Mrs. Soto. The trouble is, having seen the real thing in action, somehow the stories don't quite ring true for me.
Well, he does solve the cases. In the end.
Suppose so? Perhaps there's more to the great detective than meets the eye? I do like this fireplace. One of the biggest things I've seen since we arrived in the country, in fact. Although, I do yearn for a Japanese kotatsu. Putting your legs under a warm blanketed table is so comforting.
Do be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't mistakenly put your feet into the fire, will you? You'd suffer terrible burns, you know.
I worry sometimes about how Susuto-san sees me. It's curious how this enormous metal chest is being used as a coffee table. And even more curious to think that Iris' father's notes about Mr. Sholmes' case are inside it.
You mustn't look in there, Runo. The notes are a secret between Daddy and me.
And Mr. Sholmes isn't somehow on the secret?
It's our secrets about Hurley. Hurley tends to forget, you see. As soon as he solved the case, in fact. Once when he read one of my manuscripts, we had a terrible argument about it. Never have I solved such a case, he said. He was absolutely adamant. Sometimes I wonder if he's from another planet, don't you?
Who can say where Sholmes is from? Who can say? We have hit the top of the hour here, though, so it is time for us to go ahead and take another ad break to keep pre-roll ads off for you guys. So if you shall hang tight here real quick, we will be right back to figure out what the hell I need to do to be able to continue. Alrighty. I did some digging. Oh, I don't know why I was not expecting that. Thanks for the celebrating. Okay. So we need to go. There it is. I wonder what exciting adventures await us. Let's go back to Briar Road. He knew it was coming, Cookie Shinobu. I'm not doing Genshin tonight! I'm not doing Genshin tonight. Alas, I cannot redeem that. You've wasted 2,500 points. That? Oh my god.
London's blanketed in fog again today, and the sky is covered in cloud. If you look carefully in the distance, you can just make out the Crystal Tower being built.
The Crystal Tower, yes. A centerpiece of the Great Expedition that's to open in 6 months' time.
Everyone's talking about the Great Exhibition of London at the moment, it seems.
You're redeeming ahead of time? No, you can't redeem ahead of time. I'm pretty sure it says the character to build for the stream. Alas, the stream is not character buildings. You've wasted your points as far.
Well, it's to be the largest event of its kind anywhere in the world, with technology and scientists from all over. I can't wait for it myself.
Do you think visiting students from Far East like us will be granted entry?
The last great exhibition that was held in London had more than 6 million visitors, it seems. And this time, the British are determined to make it an even bigger success, to outdo the Paris Exposition.
I see. It's an incredible number of people. And with so many people expected to attend, we should easily be able to slip in unnoticed.
There's always the honest approach of buying tickets at the main entrance, Mr. Naruhodo.
We don't have any
Excellent.
money.
Glad we talked about that.
We keep defending folks who don't have money.
That's true. That is true. We can't go. Why can't we go here? Why can't we go here? What have I missed? What have I missed? We've looked at the soap. We've looked at the door. We looked at the bicycle. We even looked at the snowman. What am I missing here? Okay. Are you kidding me? Back we go. There is something on the ground, isn't it? I thought there was something. I knew there was something on the ground and was behind me, I swear. I swear.
What's this?
Looks like part of an envelope, I think.
Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was open?
Is it significant?
Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room, there's no sign of a letter or the rest of the envelope, in fact, is there?
Ah, she's right.
And yet here we have the torn off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual.
I agree. You better take this, just in case.
The torn off end of envelope has been entered into the court record.
Looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh? Inspector Gregson, but back so soon?
Wow, the Scotland Yard's really on top of it today.
Got through that old Japanese fella in the clink. I went and reported this to the investigation division. 5 minutes time, this place will be cordoned off by the yard. Oh, I see. Well, we'd better be leaving then.
Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low, being back in his cell again so soon. Ah!
I'm sure. What? Oh. Go and...
What's wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah! Out! Out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player. That struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Now, how soundeth the next part?
It is a tale, told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Indeed! Oh, happy day! He's like one of
What?
those. He's like one of those like Christmas toys where it's like a little figure that's on a little stand. There's a button at the bottom, and it just releases the like string that attaches all the body parts, and the little
Yeah.
character just goes. Wah.
Walking Dead. The fella isn't dead at all. What was that nonsense he was saying, though?
I think. Yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. Oh goodness, a soliloquy?
Yep.
A soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5.
Shakespeare. So it was. The victim, Mr. William Shamspeare, came back to life. The man had indeed been poisoned. It transpired that it hadn't killed him. He was taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment. And Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime. Whatever that was then.
21st February, Briar Road. Whatever do you think will happen now?
Good question. A strange situation, Mr. Natsume. Arrested for murder, but then the victim comes back to life. Again.
I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely that Mr. Shamspeare did consume poison, as we deduce. But was it an accident? Attempted suicide? Or attempted murder? Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody.
I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than night in the cells. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? Looks like he's trying to see into Seki-san's lodgings.
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
Excuse me, could we have a word?
We've seen this man before.
I think he was with Shamspear before.
Mm.
He just ran off.
I feel sure that I've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it?
Huh. I do too, but I don't remember. Well, we've done as much as investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we ought to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again.
Good idea. And the walkthrough says that we should go to our... I have to see. 21st February. Naruhodo's legal consultancy. Hey, what did it say it wanted me to look at again? I don't know why, but it says /8.
Perhaps we should put the spade away somewhere.
That's not a spade, Naruhodo-san. It's a shovel. Oh my gosh, is this gonna be... That's not a ladder, it's a step ladder, Nick.
Oh, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade.
No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel.
Oh, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Oh, you know what? This might the 4/8 might be this is the 4th time the shovels appeared. I just haven't realized it.
Oh.
That's probably what it is. You're so right, Naruhodo-san. We mustn't quarrel over such trifles.
On reflection, then, I think I'll leave the spade where it is.
Yes, I think that's for the best. We may need a shovel when we're working in the garden. Okay, it was just a shovel. Curiosity. No, no! Curiosity has been sated. I'm glad the non-spoiler walkthrough included this. Okay, to the prison we go now. February 21st. Local prison, cell 9. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Natsume, had the police finished questioning you now?
Look, Mr. Naruhodo, Oh, yes? What is he? Tell me. Is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me? Let me guess. You're talking about Mr. Sholmes?
He actually calls himself a great detective, Mr. Natsume. Not a ghost.
But his diabolic deductions, they're not of his world. They've left me. Ah, cursed. I'm cursed, I tell you. Well, that sort of hurts.
Credit where credit is due, Mr. Naruhodo. You were heavily involved in the deduction, too.
Yes, moving on. We have some wonderful news. Oh?
The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again.
Now, in the absolutely worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume? Terrible.
Oh.
I'm stuck in the cell suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick. You did it, didn't you? Confess you're a killer by the mustache. Answer questions. I'm sorry to hear that. Ah, that's a selfish shyster. Make up your mind and you're alive. If you're going to come back to life, why bother dying? You can be wishy-washy, William. Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shamsteer was never actually dead in the first place. Ah, yes, that might make sense. And I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. Our lively debate last night was much fun. I'd be sad to think it was our last.
Oh,
Oops. Mr. Natsume, does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You met Mr. Shamsteer, didn't you?
speak.
I'm not saying another word. I demand to have a lawyer present.
That's me.
Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story. Why am I cursed like this? Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume? There's nothing to tell. But, Mr. Naruto Esquire, I'm eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday. Case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back.
It's hard to believe that was only yesterday.
After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to the lonely lodgings. One evening at past 9, it must have been, I visited Mr. Shamspeare. So, you did go to the victim's room then?
As we feared.
I didn't do anything wrong. I'd never been to his room before. It was the first time. Then what made you decide to go? I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and it developed into a discussion. But he had to go out, so I bade him farewell. That ties in with what Mr. Garrett said. The victim went out and came back after 8. We met again later that evening at around 9 or just after, when I took him some nice tea I'd brewed as gift. So it was you who brought the tea that had been clearly drunk at the scene then.
And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet. Stronger. It was a delightful debate. What? I'm sure.
Sure.
Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare. And the debate became very heated, so you slipped poison in Mr. Shamsteer's tea? No, never, not at all. King Juliet, that was me, and when I left his room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit. I swear it categorically.
Tell us about your cursed existence.
Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. Do you have a cursed existence? I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time I've learned that it's no place for me.
It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture.
There are foreigners everywhere I look. They all stare at me. They all laugh. It's the impression I get whenever I go out. Makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite for my fears. I've moved more times than I can remember, and then 1 week ago I moved into Briar Road. But why? I mean, why did you choose that place? Doesn't seem very comfortable. Because the rent is cheap. I've so little money it spoke to me.
The rent?
Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed. Cursed? Cursed how? Previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there.
Oh no!
He was only a young man, but in the morning he was found dead and no one could explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that.
In Japan, that's a thing that they actually have to disclose on real estate listings.
Huh.
I forget what it's called specifically. But they have, like there's a word for it. And they disclose them. Someone has died in this building. They have a history of exactly all the people that have died in a location.
I didn't. The letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. I want books, and books cost money. A horrible history is a small price to pay. Unless you end up in jail twice. When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning. Brave or blinkered? After I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really is.
Gosh, was it really so awful? How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened?
At first, it was just a feeling of beady eyes boring on my back, watching me. Do you think that might just have been your mind playing tricks on you?
There's a cat in your room.
Yeah. No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was someone else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to that place. A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean? All the souls who've died in that room lean over me in my sleep and try to strangle me. That really is horrible.
I feel like there's just a bunch of cats that come and curl up on your chest at night.
Probably. And now I come to think of it, it happened again last night too. Very same night that Sir Shamspear was writhing in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room.
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right. I know it. And that's why. I'm already searching. The next room with a history to call home. Just go home.
I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodation with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history.
Ooh. So Sam really knows how to make a man listen. Of course. Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse on my room as well. You mean Mr. Garrett? Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again. And that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place.
Ah, perhaps. That may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps in his tenants' movements.
You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants in his rooms. What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Because he does. Oh dear! No, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please forget I said anything.
Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well. What's important is that Mr. Shamsphere isn't, in fact, dead at all. Once he's come around and he's able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released. Yes, please. Oh, I do hope you're right.
Excuse me.
Inspector Gregson. But over here in what you just said. That note. I have some good news and some bad news.
Okay.
Oh. Which you want first? Always, every time the bad news comes first. I hope it's all you have. Hold on to it. It's my guiding principle. Right, well, in that case, good news it is. Huh? Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way.
Then why did you offer?
I was being polite, see? Then why did you ask my preference? As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shamsphere, was just unconscious. He's come around now. Yes, we saw that. We saw it happen in all its terrifying glory. He's still being treated by the doctors. We've managed to get a written statement from him already.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, thank goodness. It's all over then. I can leave this somber cell. Sorry, no, it's not on the cards. What?
Why ever not, Inspector?
Mr. Shamsphere has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night. Implicated someone?
Oh dear.
You don't mean. Sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointing the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. A sweet poison really seeketh in my life. And wicked caitiff, Sir Seki Natsume. No. So I'm afraid to be appeared in court as planned. If you want to make the necessary preparations. No. No. And so, once again, Soseki-san found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky. I know I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court, and do my utmost to break the curse that blighted him.
To be continued. Yep. Had a feeling. Oh man. This is probably a good place to stop for tonight, yeah? I think it's probably a good place. Because we're going to start the trial next, and it's better than stopping halfway through investigation, but at the same time stopping early into a court trial. It's not the funnest either. And of course now OBS turns green. Why?
Yeah.
That's always how it works. That's always how it works. Alright, I saved. I'm gonna save again. Feel better. Double save. Make myself feel a bit better here. Okay. But yeah, this is probably a good spot for us to end it here tonight. Let's see if anyone is online, actually. Let's see here.
Our politically correct term is double. Wait, really? I don't think I've ever heard that before. Okay.
Okay, it looks like Lux
Did you
is
know
still
the word?
online.
I've heard it. I've heard that sort of word
So
before.
let's go ahead and read out to him. Playing I, the Somnian Files, Nirvana Initiative, which I've only seen small snippets of, so I don't really know too much about it. But let's see here. Okay, today's Thursday, so the next thing that I have planned on the docket will be on Saturday. We'll be doing a Genshin stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can check out the schedule, which is posted on Twitter, and it's also on the Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, we can chit chat even whenever I'm not streaming. So if you want to make shining memories together off stream, that's the place to be. So consider joining it there. What else? What else? Let's talk about my schedule. I can't think anything else. Put the raid messages here. I was spelling raid with an E. Why am I spelling? No, I did it. There we go. Okay, if I see the links, I know it's time. It is indeed time. Raid. Shh. Shh. Be quiet. Be quiet. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and raid out to Lux. And I can't think of anything else. My brain. But yes, thank you everyone for coming to hang out tonight. I hope you guys had a good time tonight. I had a good time tonight. I hope you also had a good time tonight, Soph. It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Nice to get back into the Ace Attorney swing. Always
I did a lot of talking.
You did do a lot of talking. I'm hoping I can take off more talking from you in the trial phase, but we'll do our bestest. But yeah, thanks again, everyone. We're gonna go raid out to Lux, so be sure to grab that raid message. And until Saturday, I will see you guys next time. This is Michio signing off. So have a good night, guys. Bye.